Over 20 million people watched our Liberty Engine 2.0 build video. That's why we're going to explain step by step how to build this unlimited energy generator. Stay until the end of the video to find out how it works and how it's built. And remember, our prototypes are not for sale. Don't be fooled by scammers. To begin, we'll need 4 microwave transformers like this one. We'll cut the core of each transformer to extract the internal coils. We'll cut from the top of the transformer so as not to damage the coil underneath, but we'll open it like this. We'll place a metal plate under the coil to use as a lever. This way we won't damage it. We'll only use this coil out of the 3 coils in each transformer. This small coil won't work, and neither will this other coil. Here we have the transformer core and the 220-volt coil we're going to use. Once we've cleaned the transformer core, the coil fits smoothly. We repeat the process with 3 more identical transformers. In a collaborating lab, we created this cylinder from a special alloy, which we'll use to make the rotor. This special material is composed primarily of silver and aluminum. This metal is key to making this prototype work. Using a precision lathe, we'll shape this cylinder to manufacture the rotor with a diameter of 133 millimeters. Every measurement is precisely calculated to maximize its efficiency. Once turned, we'll cut 4 equidistant grooves, each 12 millimeters wide and 11 millimeters deep. Here we have the finished piece ready for the next step. We'll glue a series of neodymium magnets into each groove. Each magnet is an N52 type and measures 12 millimeters wide, 34 millimeters long, and 3.5 millimeters thick. We'll glue them with cyanoacrylate, joining them in groups of 3. We'll separate them according to their magnetic orientation for easier placement. We'll prepare an epoxy adhesive mixture to glue each group of magnets into the rotor grooves. In this slot, we'll glue 2 groups of magnets with north polarity, turn it a quarter turn, and in the next slot, glue 2 groups of magnets with south polarity. Turn it another quarter turn and glue 2 more groups of magnets with north polarity. Finally, in the last slot, glue the 2 remaining groups of magnets with south polarity, alternating the polarities around the rotor. South, north, south, north. Now we'll surround each slot with hot glue and masking tape. This will allow us to fill each slot with epoxy resin without it spilling out. This way, all the magnets will be fixed inside each slot without affecting their magnetic strength. We'll let the resin dry for at least 24 hours. After that, we can safely remove the hot glue. We'll repeat this same process for each slot. This means we'll need at least 4 days of drying time to complete this process. Once we've finished, we'll reground the rotor on our precision lathe. We removed all the excess resin and polished the surface with liquid polish. And this was the wonderful result, the heart of the Liberty Engine 2.0. Now we're going to design and manufacture the structure that will house the entire system. We'll cut and weld a series of steel profiles according to our measurements. We'll provide the manufacturing plans in another video. This is the base of our structure. We'll continue making the transformer mounts. We'll make 2 identical pieces. We'll also weld the motor mounts. Every piece, every weld, is made with the utmost precision to avoid deformations in the frame. The first time we published this video, many people didn't understand its operating principle. Many science channels on YouTube analyzed the material and weren't able to clearly explain how it works. That's why we've remastered this video to clarify any doubts by giving a detailed description of the entire process. Inside the frame, we'll house and weld the 4 transformer cores. We'll weld one on top, another on the bottom, and one on each side. They'll face each other, forming a sort of negative cross. We check that the rotor fits perfectly in the opening, leaving only 0.5 millimeter of play between the rotor and each transformer. Now, to perfectly center it, we'll wrap the rotor with a layer of adhesive tape. We'll give it a few turns until we add a thickness of 1 millimeter in diameter to the rotor. Here you can see the extra thickness. We'll fit the rotor back in, which now goes in with great difficulty, and adjust its position with a few light taps. With the rotor centered, we'll now position the motor at the correct distance. We'll position the junction box facing upwards. With a permanent marker, we'll mark the motor mounting holes. They'll be like this, ensuring that the rotor remains centered. We can now remove the rotor to mark, drill and tap each hole to metric 8. We remove the adhesive tape because we won't need it anymore. We insert each of the coils into each iron core. We've marked each coil with its respective core so that they fit smoothly. It's time to reinsert the rotor and attach it to the electric motor. We'll secure the motor with 4 bolts and check that the rotor spins freely, without friction, and perfectly centered. We firmly tighten the threaded studs to finish securing the rotor to the motor shaft. This piece will be attached to the rotor and will be used to install a manual starting system. We can see that there is no friction and the rotor is perfectly calibrated. We're going to do a first functional test before completing the assembly. This will allow us to verify that all our calculations are correct and that the rotor alloy composition is appropriate. As you can see, there are no hidden batteries anywhere, something that those who believe in the traditional laws of thermodynamics always accuse us of. But we're going to demonstrate that these laws are barriers imposed on us to limit us. We'll leave the motor's junction box open throughout the test. We're going to connect the lower coil in parallel with the motor. And in turn, in parallel with the upper coil. By connecting just 2 of the 4 coils, we already obtain more than enough electricity to run our generator indefinitely. We'll connect the other 2 coils later. We'll secure the cables with cable ties to prevent them from interfering with the moving parts of our generator. Using a voltmeter, We'll check that there's no voltage between the motor terminals because there's no hidden battery inside. If there were something hidden, the voltmeter would show a reading, but there isn't. Perfect. Now we're going to start the rotor turning with a coiled cable that will pull. We wrap the cable around this part and pull it sharply to get it started. It works! It works! You can feel a slight vibration, so we'll fix that. This is the result of 7 months of research on the Liberty Engine 1.0, which you can also find on our channel. With this version, we've improved power, reduced noise, and made the whole system more stable. Some of the improvements came from your feedback. So thank you to everyone who contributed their knowledge over the months. Let's check the voltage it generates. We'll measure the voltage across the motor terminals, which are connected in series to 2 of the coils. We get 228 volts. You can see in detail where we're connecting the voltmeter on the small screen in the corner. We also measured the voltage directly from the top coil. After running for a while, the generator hasn't stopped. This indicates an energy efficiency greater than 1. In other words, everything traditional physics claims has just been refuted. This proves that our Liberty engine generates more energy than it consumes. Let's connect a light bulb to check that the generator is powering correctly. Later in this video, we'll do a much more intensive test to see how far this generator can go. This energy isn't created from nothing. It's extracted from the magnetic fluctuations of the magnets as they pass through each coil. And thanks to the rotor's design, the currents remain stable because eddy currents and magnetic braking are eliminated. If we disconnect the cable connecting the coils to the motor, it stops receiving electrical current and the system shuts down. We then disassemble the machine so you can see that there are no hidden batteries. This is real. It's nothing more than advanced science and technology that certain companies want to keep hidden. We're always asked why we don't sell the prototypes, since they could change the world. We've already explained the answer in other videos. This technology doesn't belong to us and is protected by the Invention Secrecy Act and hidden patents. patents that remain hidden from the public and will only be revealed when these companies decide that oil is no longer profitable. Therefore, be wary of scammers selling them. We've detected scammers on the internet and social media such as Telegram, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, impersonating us to try to deceive people. They claim to be the creators of the real Liberty engine, but the Liberty engine is not for sale. Don't buy it. Don't fall for the scam. And if you see an online store or profile trying to sell it, report it to the authorities. As you may have noticed in the video, there are no batteries or hidden cables anywhere. Now we'll continue with the assembly. To prevent the vibrations from our machine that you saw in the previous test, we're going to drill and tap holes to install rubber feet. We'll also weld these nuts to secure the feet. We remove the bolts. We've cut and folded these aluminum sheets along the edges so they fit perfectly onto the frame. We're marking all the places where we'll drill and tap holes to attach aluminum sheets and acrylic protectors. We remove everything. We tack each hole. We drill. And we screw it in with a metric 4-tap. Before finishing the assembly, we'll apply a coat of white primer and another coat of black paint. Once the paint has dried, we'll install the anti-vibration rubber feet. By eliminating these vibrations, the machine will remain stable on any surface. In addition, noise is also significantly reduced. Now we replace the aluminum plates and secure them with metric 4 conical head bolts. You can see that there isn't enough space under the aluminum sheet to hide batteries and a transformer to generate 220 volts AC. This is a driver that will power the LED lighting on our machine. It operates on 220 volts AC. Let's test it before installing it by connecting it to this power outlet. Once we've verified that it works, we'll solder the power cables and cover the solder joints with heat shrink tubing. This tubing shrinks when heat is applied. We attach the driver and a connection strip. Now we connect the output cables to the LED lighting on the terminal block. We'll connect the 2 power cables to this larger terminal block. We also connect the cables that will go to the transformer coils. Now we connect the 2 LED strips here. It's now ready to be installed on our generator. We insert and secure it. Then glue the 2 LED strips to the inside of the frame. This lighting, besides being aesthetically pleasing, will give us visual information about the generated voltage. We're going to insert the 4 transformer coils. We connect the wires coming from the terminal block so that the top coil is connected in parallel to the bottom coil and the side coils to each other. In the next video, we'll also include the wiring diagram. Now all the coils are connected in parallel. We'll secure the wires with cable ties to prevent them from accidentally disconnecting. We'll also protect the connections with some electrical tape to prevent accidental contact. We're going to install these 2 multi-socket power strips on our unlimited energy generator. As you can see, batteries of any kind won't fit inside the sockets. We'll attach them to the aluminum plate using the holes we drilled earlier. We'll put one on each side for a symmetrical look. We strip the wires so we can connect them to the power strip of our self-sustaining generator. We remove the ground wire because our machine doesn't have a ground connection, making it portable. We connected one terminal block in parallel with 2 of the transformers and the other terminal block in parallel with the other 2 transformers. Here's how it looks. Now it's time to install the motor in the frame. And we'll insert our specially modified rotor onto the motor shaft. We tighten the rotor bolts against the shaft to prevent it from coming loose. It spins perfectly. This will be the motor's power cable. We connect it to the terminals and tighten the nuts firmly. We'll reattach this part, which is part of the manual starter. You can clearly see the magnetic force of the neodymium magnets. Now we'll install the protective acrylic panels, but first we'll install this manual starter. We add a set of washers and screw it to the acrylic sheet. By pulling the cord, we'll spin the rotor of our self-sustaining unlimited energy generator. We remove the protective film. Here we also placed a series of spacer washers to create ventilation slots. We continued attaching these triangular guards and the other side guards. Although this prototype may look commercially viable, remember that it is not for sale. Avoid being scammed. We connected the motor's power cable to one of the electrical outlets. And finally, we placed the cover on the motor's junction box. The manufacturing process is complete. Let's start it. Excellent. Our infinite energy generator is amazing. How does the Liberty Engine 2.0 work? When we pull the starter cord, we rotate the rotor, which is made of a special alloy and neodymium magnets. This causes the magnet's magnetic field to pass through the coils, generating 220 volts. This voltage is injected into the sockets and, in turn, into the motor, which keeps the modified rotor spinning at a constant speed of 1,400 revolutions per minute. This ensures that it continuously produces electrical current in a highly efficient manner, without violating any of the laws of thermodynamics, thanks to the special alloy based primarily on silver and aluminum. And it's much more efficient than the Liberty Engine 1.0. Now it's time to put it to the test. We plug in the motor and flip the switch. There are no hidden batteries. We pull the starter cord firmly, and you can see the light intensity gradually increase. We're also going to connect an angle grinder that operates at 220 volts and requires 800 watts of power. We didn't notice any variations in the rotor speed because we've eliminated magnetic braking. When we turn off the switch, the motor stops receiving power and the machine stops. To further demonstrate the reliability of our prototype, we're going to test it outdoors, where an external power connection is impossible. The power generated by the Liberty Engine is so stable that we can even connect delicate electronic devices, like this iMac computer. You can see there are no houses or power sources nearby. We flip the power switches. We gripped the handle firmly and pulled it. The voltage generated by this rotation started the machine. Using a voltmeter, we verified that the generated voltage is 228 volts. If we wanted our machine to generate 110 volts, we would need to use a 110-volt single-phase motor and 4 110-volt transformer coils. It's that simple. This would be great for use in areas like the United States, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Belize, and some Caribbean territories. We just connected a 1-horsepower water pump, and we're going to connect several more devices at the same time. Like this chainsaw, the angle grinder, This 650-watt drill and even this iMac, which consumes about 160 watts, but requires high voltage stability. Everything is running simultaneously: the water pump, the iMac, and now the grinder. There are no voltage or power drops. Everything works perfectly, and our unlimited power generator doesn't stop. As you can see, we not only connect them, but we also use the tools for quite a while. No hidden battery could keep the system running at that load for so long. We remind you that we're on the bank of a river and there are no nearby power sources. It's just our Liberty engine extracting energy from magnetic fluctuations in nature. It would be wonderful if this technology were released someday. These videos are an attempt to put pressure on the industry to make that happen. But in the meantime, remember that no one can sell them. Don't be fooled by scammers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to support our channel, you can do it by becoming a member or subscribing and liking the video. Thanks for your help, and we'll see you in the next video.